Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. About to get into game number 2 of this Best of 5 series. Sin were able to take game 1 over AV, and they're going to be playing on the blue side again coming into game 2.
They certainly are, but let's address the feature. Sin, Direwolves are the best team in this league right now. They have finished back-to-back first places. I don't know how you can call yourself the best team in the league when you have not done it yet. Direwolves are the team to beat. They will be waiting next Saturday for whoever can run this gauntlet. And they're just sitting there, Fish, rubbing their hands together because they're going to get to see, you know, between 9 and 15 champion selects before anyone even gets there.
Yeah, I like Sin as a team a lot. They're one of my favorite teams in the OPL. But if you're going to call yourselves the best team in the OPL, you have to at least run the gauntlet once. Last split, they got down to the last game and could not take it to Legacy to play in the finals.
But they have learned from that mistake. They've said that they need to finish them out 3-0, 3-1s, you know, going to the 5th game. That's going to be disastrous. Interestingly enough, AV has picked red side for this second pick ban phase. Yeah. So that's why they're back on the red. Of course, you get side selection choice. We don't just switch back and forth. Sin picked blue side game 1. AV has picked red side game number 2.
So potentially throughout the Specified series, we could see this exact same thing. Sin on blue, AV on red. That's their preference. It could change up if either Bensel or Pinch think they need to change their draft phase. But coming into this game number 2, Renekton, Sedrani, Elise banned out. Kalista, Gragas, and Jace is banned out by AV, so Rakan gets picked up by Rogue.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense, right? If you can't attack Rogue's champion pool in the pick ban, take away both the Rakan and the Thresh, like, why are you even taking away one? Just allowing to play one, take away the Xayah, which is going to be pouting it up with it very well. Grab an aggressive support for yourself and see how it works out. I also think Morgana's okay into Rakan at the moment. Shuts down if he's a lot of early aggression Fish. And getting rid of the Jace seems paramount because they're going to always take away Renekton, which is the one champion that series looks, you know, competent on. And then from there, they can just continue to attack his champion ball.
So Xayah picked up by AV. Is that a pick away from FBI denying this bottom lane?
Getting rid of Xayah Rakan is like crucial. I think that their level 1 pressure is just so phenomenal, and you know, all the cool things you can do, like the increased dash range makes the ult easier to line up. You can come out of Fog of War from a little bit further away from it. Also, double attack speed, level 1, means you can walk at people.
Especially if Kalista already been taken off the board from the first ban of AV. Denies the 2 best combos into Rakan. But Jarvan, as well as Varus in the next 2 picks from Xin very quickly. Maokai was picked up by AV.
Yeah, I really like Jarvan into Xayah because, you know, you can jump on her, make sure that even if she ults, she has to stay within the Cataclysm. You can't get over the wall. She gets really high, Fish, like way above the wall, but for some reason just can't seem to clear it. So, you know, that's a little bit interesting. Obviously, if you ult early enough, it does get rid of it. Thresh is a nice pairing with Xayah. It's a good aggressive lane. I would be interested to see whether that's Sybil's jungle pickup, because I think Maokai's nerfs to his saplings made his clear suck. That's just my opinion, obviously. We'll see whether OPL teams share it, but I think that Maokai, given the fact that we nerfed the percentage health damage, and now it's scaled, the more health levels you put into saplings, you max it last. I mean, so it just never gets there.
When he was first thrown into the jungle a long time ago by the odd one, the saplings only really mattered for the first camp. But has been quite impactful.
Mind you, the odd one also used to get level 4 and run around for the rest of the game. So only impactful for the first camp because he just didn't farm at all.
He'd just be diving the rest of the time.
Yep.
Jake gets his turn on Thresh in this match as the final pick for AV in first draft phase. Cassiopeia, Vladimir. Bans coming out from AV. Corki and Kled taken away by Sin.
Yeah, obviously the Vladimir Jarvan combo is something that has been pretty popular lately. So we see teams like Team Regicide, who recently promoted back into the OPL, so congratulations to Dylan and his squad. But that's an interesting pickup. Triple has gone with mid Lucian, which seems to be a huge pick right now in other regions, but hasn't really been played to effect in the OPL.
It's very popular in the telecom wars, has been played internationally, especially in the LPL.
Yeah, let's not talk about the telecom wars. As a KT fan, let's move on to the OPL Fish.
So you must really enjoy the telecom wars.
But, I hate them.
Syndra has been picked up here for Roma in the mid lane. Fun fact about these two, FBI and Roma constantly play Lucian into Lucian mid lane. They've got a lot of practice playing the mirror match into one another.
Obviously irrelevant in this because he's going to be playing Lucian into Syndra.
Yeah, very different.
Which isn't Lucian into Lucian.
Both of them very comfortable on the champion. Shen does get picked up in the top lane for Dokla.
That's interesting. I mean, a good 1-4 comp right now. Obviously, Shen going to be able to push out the side wave, see whether we get the rush on the Titanic Hydra. obviously Trundle is good at nullifying solo tank compositions. You'd have to say this is like a tank and a half. I think that Jace is a much better, Rumble is a much better pickup here.
And that gets locked in for series.
Matches the push incredibly well early games. It's harder to overheat early. You need a couple of levels before you can really start bullying around a wave fish.
Yep.
But at the same time, that will be Sybil on Maokai, which once again, I think that Jarvan is a tier above Maokai at the moment in the jungle role.
Jarvan's being picked very heavily as the first pick jungler at the moment. We kind of questioned it during Rift Rivals. I believe it was Mineski the first team to pick it up.
But the thing is, right, is we question it, and then they have to nerf every other jungle, and then it's like top priority. And Mineski like, see, we were right all along. Like, no, you were wrong back then, but now you're just right now because of the nerfs that happened on every other jungler that was overpowered at the stage. However, on a less passionate note, yes, he is a very good jungler at the moment. Does have the flexibility of Warrior as well as going towards the Cinderhulk. We'll see what he goes for.
So, single tank lineups for both teams. Yes, Jarvan and Shen will kind of tank together, but Rumble for the side of AV. Very different team compositions, so both teams shaking it up coming into game 2.
But one more time, I still think that AV have a team fighting comp, right? They have double AD carry, they have mage in top lane, a tank in the support as well as the jungle position, although Thresh is kind of the worst tank support in the game. Versus, I mean, what is a very good 1-4 composition, sure. But AV obviously came into this and they're like, it's a team fighting meta, let's just pick team fighters. Unfortunately for them, with the team fighting comp versus a 1-3-1 comp last game, they got destroyed. So maybe they shouldn't pick team fight.
Potentially. Well, let's see how AV do coming into this match. They do have a bit more pressure this time around. Lucian in the mid lane does well into a lot of matchups. I believe one of the few that he does lose is into Victor. Not quite sure he does into Syndra in early game.
Yeah, I think he's fine. I mean, Hex Drinker solves a lot of Lucian's problems, right? And you're able to punish the orbs incredibly hard. As soon as she throws out an orb, you just dash on her head and start shooting her. The problem with Lucian is he's incredibly mana-gated. And it's something that has always held him back a little bit in lanes.
It certainly has, but let's see. AV did not have a single pushing lane in the last match. See if anything changes coming into this match. For now, though, let's check in with Sarianne, who's standing by with AV's coach, Pinch.
Thanks, guys. I'm standing here with Pinch. Now, in Game 1 and Game 2, you banned out Kalista. Are you able to talk to us why you did this when we've seen Blinky play it quite a bit in the past?
Sure. Well, over the last couple of weeks on stage in OPL, FEI has put a very high priority on Kalista and Xayah. We think that when their bottom lane is able to play aggressive, their team has a much bigger chance of winning. And Kalista is a very good and easy first pick because you don't really show your hand too early in the draft.
Spawn was saying that Maokai isn't really the best in the jungle at the moment since he's got nerfs to his saplings. Do you think that he's still quite a good champion in the jungle?
Yeah. In the draft, he's very good to pick because he's a flex pick and you can pick him early on. If you want to pick a different jungle later in the draft, like we did in Game 1, you can do. He's very flexible. He's still an amazing team fighter. He builds Knight's Vow, so he can always be played.
Well, best of luck with the series, and thanks for talking to us, Pinch.
Thanks.
So let's see how well Sybil does early on in the jungle.
I also want to discuss something Pinch just said. You can play anything jungle. That is factually correct. So I agree with his analysis, Fish. Just for those wondering at home before I get tweeted at. Like, yes, technically you can play Maokai jungle. What I said was he wasn't a top tier jungler anymore, which I don't think he really answered.
Well, Sybil gets a good leash here. Layers the saplings quite well so that their damage over time doesn't stack.
He certainly does.
This one's not going to do as much.
He got that one right as well. So Sybil, obviously, still very competent on the pick, but you can see he's fallen behind Juves. And the early clear where you get to stack saplings is the quickest part of Maokai's jungle.
Yeah, it just gets harder and harder from here. Mid lane, you can already see Triple is pushing in Roma quite heavily on the Lucian.
Took the cleanse, however, as you are wont to do when you're in a matchup. Juves goes for a cheeky ward, wondering if he's going to get invaded. So obviously he thinks that Maokai should be clearing faster than him. Juves, I hate to break it to you, he's not.
Sybil's also very low on health at the moment.
Skip Jim. Oh, never do that. Remember that YouTube can be rewinded. Gym is forever.
What? Watch it at the gym.
That's also true. We do that sometimes with different games that are happening. You see Juves being caught out on a ward right now. We'll go for his own little ward over the wall, potentially. Sybil gives up on a little bit of patience there on the Grump, but should be okay. I hate getting cannons tossed at me for some reason. Ooh, and Dokla, big trade, but now Series in a position.
Flashes on the Shen, flashes away, overheats, running out, but the cooldown on Flame Spitter a bit too long. to pick up that kill. Flash for flash top lane.
Still, fantastic play out of series. That's a confidence play, being able to flash forward aggressively and nearly take down a top laner that was absolutely dumpstering you last game. And they're on the wrong side of the map, boys.
Yeah, mid laners have traded positions. Ryoma is still alive here, but Triple very healthy.
Yeah, obviously, reason that Triple didn't go for any form of, flash forward or something there is the fact that Tommy still has his heal available. Is starting to get punished a little bit in CS, but Lucian has one of the strongest early games in the game, Fish. Also with Fervor as well, it's going to be an even better early game. So we'll see how he continues as this game progresses.
Every time Ryoma steps forward just out of turret range, Triple will dash in and get a bit of harass.
Yep, relentlessly pursue him. As we see now, both teleports used, but now Series in some trouble.
No flash available for Dokla. Juice will flash in, gets the knock up, and taunt lands for Dokla. Now they're going to try and chase him down. Good slow from Series, but red buff is ticking. He's overheating. Maokai Sapping's there to try and slow them down. Sybil jumps up. Will be able to knock them back. Juice does not get the flag and drag off and can't take down Series.
Yeah, really nicely done out of Series to continue with the play. I mean, kites them around very nicely. Rogue goes in for some damage onto Blinky.
Blinky's taking a lot of damage from FBI Rogue. In fact, Ignite was used there. Cuts the healing in half as well from that summoner spell.
This is very nice now.
Healing, Ignite also being used by Jake there.
I don't think he should have ignited there. I think he should have taken the damage, Fish. Rogue was never really in any danger of dying. Interestingly enough, FBI is an E-Maxer on Varus. Obviously, Q-Max is still quite popular. Yep. I like E-Max, especially given, Warlord lanes and things like that. One thing that's overlooked a lot is if people are running potions all the time and healing up all the time, E-Max has extra value because of the healing reduction that's on it.
It's also easier to trade with.
Is it?
Yeah, walk up, auto attack E. Don't have to worry about the piercing arrow going through minions.
That's true, actually.
It was very popular when Varus was first in the meta.
Oh, it was broken when Varus was in the verse.
Bloodthirster Last Whisper Rush.
Yep, because you would auto-attack E. Auto-attack while your E was in the air and do probably half their health.
Now, not as much, but FBI still likes the spell itself. AV will get some time to push back in. Seems like FBI and Rogue are a little bit afraid of Maokai.
Yeah, I think they should be. I mean, the one thing about Maokai ganks is that if he ever gets behind you, he's incredibly potent. You can see that Sybil was potentially looking for a raptor spawn or something like that, gets down some good deep vision instead. Triple's being shoved under his turret, interestingly enough here, Fish. So maybe the first shop is the area that Ryoma starts turning it around. Hook lands.
Good hook from Jake. Just a bit of auto attack damage from Blinky, and that's not going to matter too much.
Sending a message.
Ban Thresh. Says Jake this time.
There we go, though. Good damage coming out of Ryoma.
Yeah, really good harass from Ryoma. Triple doesn't have his Hex Drinker yet, so Ryoma has
a window
to try and take him down in the mid lane.
Yeah, potentially. Also, Triple could just cleanse the little bit of stun that comes out and run at him. You can see Sybil wants in.
Good damage onto Juves as well. Smite comes through. Sybil gets that one. Juves forced out of the bottom side of the jungle.
Yeah, so even though Juves went for the Barmy Cinder first, not able to clear as healthily as Sybil has, who was sitting in his jungle for quite some time, Fish.
And that's always been Jarvan's big problem. No matter what meta he is in the jungle, he's always running low in his first and second clears. Whereas Maokai, oh no, Juves, don't die to this.
He's fine.
I will be able to pick that one up. Whereas Maokai, always fairly healthy thanks to his passive.
Potential play in the bottom lane, however, if Sybil gets on his bike, because they're walking up aggressively. Sybil stayed around for all the little ones there. 40 gold. I hope it was worth it, because I think he honestly could have got in there and traded pretty heavily. Maybe burn a flash or something like that, because FBI has no mana. And we've already talked about it a little bit, but so much of the damage that comes out of Varus is based off the fact that his W procs percentage health when it's used with an ability.
Yep.
And if he's not able to do that, he's in some trouble.
Good trades from Blinky here. And the hook is not going to land. FBI just runs in the straight line.
And unfortunately now for Sybil, he's just wasted so much time down in this bottom lane. His recall is going to be stopped. I mean, yeah, it's a shame. He's still full health, full mana, so can go towards his full jungle clear right now if he wants. But it will take a little bit longer, given the fact that he doesn't have a Cinder.
Gold is dead even though in this match. Dokla not being on a carry in this game means he has not been able to bully out Series.
But still up in CS. I mean, he did get his flash burnt. Sure, Series got ganked and had to walk back to lane, so probably would have lost 6 there. But I feel like this is a winning matchup for Rumble still.
Yep. I mean, it kind of makes Shen's W useless. Of course, you should use it when he overheats, because that's the only time Rumble really wants to auto-attack you, and Series capitalize on that mistake from Dokla at level 2 quite well. But as things stand...
Does it block creeps hitting you?
Ooh, I believe so.
Because then you could also use it if you're trading in their wave. Creeps do lots of damage, Fish.
Creeps. Minions OP.
Minions are OP.
Moo top.
Here we go.
Fighting the minions.
Good flash.
Rogue would not be able to charm him
I
up.
talk about this all the time, but I think that, you know, even though Rakan's R is obviously on a much lower cooldown than the Flash of Thresh, if you're caught out of position like that, you just have to respect it and flash, because you know he's going for it immediately if he gets within range of you. And I think that that's a good flash out of Jake. He's just said, all right, cool, I would have died otherwise. The jungler's obviously here. And he actually respects the ability. Too many times I've seen people like Rogue and Ejim just go for that cheeky play in the bottom lane, you know, either flying out of a brush or using the max range E to make up a surprising amount of distance.
Yep.
And people have died for it. Sometimes they get double kills because AD Carry and Thresh are standing on top of each other for no reason.
So respectful from Jake, but that's the play from Rogue. It's forced the summoner spell out of Thresh, so 5-minute window where Sin can make a play in the bottom lane.
Yeah, potentially.
Ultimate comes out from FBI. There's the knockup from Rogue, forces Blinky's ultimate. Yet to rip the feathers back. Jake posturing quite aggressively as well. They lock down Rogue, but Jake throws out no abilities in that skirmish.
Yeah, I mean, he threw out a hook and it hit a creep, I think. Apart from that, couldn't really go in. Obviously, he doesn't have his flash available, and all the summoner spells are up, and now we go in.
Ooh, forces the flash out of Blinky. He's going to hop out. Rogue showing his prowess on Rakan.
And all of a sudden, Ryoma's also here, hiding around the corner, so Blinky needs to be very careful.
Juves as well. He's coming down. Will be spotted out now, but without flashes, Ryoma can get a good stun. Doesn't connect. Will get the slow into Blinky. Maokai is coming through with the ultimate. Hook does not land. Ryma's going to jump on forward. Ultimate thrown out towards Blinky, but he lives through that one.
Yeah, and this is actually quite bad now for Sin, because you're going to see that Ryoma takes half his health, and that could have been pressure for a turret. Instead, you can see that Triple has rotated over, and now they'll be able to shove back off turret. Yeah. Nice play there. Sybil should stick around and shove one more wave if he's going to tax the whole thing, because otherwise it's just going to push and freeze, and he's a jerk. Absolute jerk. I would have backpinged him so many times if I was Blinky in solo queue.
That's nerfed though. You can only ping 4 times now.
It is.
Unlucky.
I actually think that was in direct response to me. Me and Ejim, the backpingers.
Yeah, Ejim likes to ping me all the way from bottom lane, laning phase, when I'm top side of the map. It's not fun.
He just has better map awareness than us, Fish. And look at this. Blinky's going to have to approach a frozen wave for what? 3 creeps, and it's going to park right in front of his turret. That's not a feels good moment.
Nope. Meanwhile, Rome.
And Jake just says, all right, you're on your own.
Stay bottom. He's being pushed out of lane. Oh boy, Rakan's chased Blinky into the river.
I actually would say that so far in the one-on-one, Triple has beaten Ryoma in both games.
Yep. It should be a winning matchup for Cassiopeia into Corki.
Yep, certainly should be, and I think that he won that matchup. Obviously did slightly more damage, but it is much easier to do damage when your team is like 8,000 gold ahead the whole game. And I think that Triple is once again winning this matchup.
Yeah, kind of a similar story to last Gauntlet, where, yes, it looked very even between the 2 mid laners, but Triple was just...
Triple was doing it on a losing team the whole time.
Series takes a trade here. That's a mistake. Dokla decides not to engage.
He's trying to get it into the turret because Maokai as well as Lucian is here. So now they'll go.
Oh, that's where you just have to pick the fight if you're Dokla. He gets locked down. Good taunt gets him out of that one. Equalizer flashed. And AV might be able to get a turret for that, but they don't take down Dokla.
Yeah, but that's still a great play out of AV. Very proactive. You can see all of the damage going to come here. I don't think they should have used that ultimate, however. That was a little bit strange, Fish.
Dokla's come back in. Maokai is tanking the turret. Good taunt. Means that Triple will tank it now. Dodge field comes out as well. Turret's going to fall. Triple is very low, but Dokla has no friends.
He was just kind of playing 1v3 there. Got 2 of them very low, Fish, but it didn't really matter. Bottom lane turret will go down. I think that was a foregone conclusion with the flashes being expended. You can see now with Rogue ultimate back available, would have just been looking to clean up the duo. So I think that that's actually a good trade out of AV. They get a winning side of the map finally.
Yep.
Ooh, FBI, this is so mean.
Denies a lot of minions there. And as much as it's first turret to AV, and Sin reply 1-for-1, look at the CS between Blinky and FBI now. They pushed him off that wave.
They certainly did. So he's 30 creeps down, as Fish was pointing out. That will lead to about 800 gold. But in saying that, Junglers is in favor of Sybil. And I think that even though Maokai's clear speed has been nerfed, his actual team fighting prowess is still incredibly good, as Pinch was pointing out. So we'll see now with this small advantage whether Sybil can get himself into the game. He is, however, behind in levels, which is kind of the worry.
Yeah. Sybil's able to sneak away a Rift Herald. That's a big pickup for AV.
Oh, he gets his back stopped. Nothing really going to come of it, though.
Throws a kitten at him.
Just walk away. The other thing is we're used to seeing Moby Boots rushes a lot.
Ooh.
Triple.
Triple going all in against Ryoma. Pops the Culling. Ryoma trying to dodge this one out.
Him here. Ooh, doesn't
Good.
actually go for it.
Yeah, good use of Storm Raider's Surge allows Ryoma to jump away.
You're right, Fish. I actually wouldn't have pointed that out. But, of course, using the ultimate gave him the speed up to be able to walk away. More than a pretty face.
Sometimes.
Dokla misses that.
You want to fight Blinky there. Blinky will take a turret shot. This turret's probably going to fall, and no response from Sin so far.
And
They are
because
not
they
pushing
chunked out
topside.
Ryoma, who now doesn't have all that much mana, can they actually go for Rift Herald, or is there going to be a bigger play made as the Rakan heads in?
Mid lane, Triple is pushed up very far, but running towards the correct side of the map. Big charm from Ro. You can see Dokla is looking to try and use Stand United in this fight if he can. They lock up Sybil. He's going to fall first. First blood is picked up by Jubes.
Yeah, that's absolutely massive. I mean, being able to collapse there, you can see the turret will still probably fall in the bottom lane. However, first blood with that many assists is probably a fair trade for it. Dokla needs to not fall down here, although Jubes is also heading in, and there is no turret to go towards.
They find Jake first. Jake does have Flash, but Flag Drake connects and the taunt.
He just stands still. I mean, I think he was going to die. Had absolutely nowhere to flash to, even though the summoner was available. Series doesn't have Equalizer, culling down in the mid lane, so that turret is also going to cop some fire. And all of a sudden, just like that, Sinra gained the gold lead, even though they're at a turret deficit with 2 quick kills.
Now, let's see what they decide to do later on, because who do you think is going to be scaling up into this late game? Both of them have a team fighting team comps. Is it just going to be even who has more gold wins, so to speak?
I think obviously there's always going to be the outplayed button that comes out of Ryoma, and the AD carries are going to have to watch that. If 5 balls are on the ground, I mean, Ryoma, well, 3 around Ryoma, 2 on the ground, he's just going to be able to look at one of them and they will die. At the same time, until a Locket is picked up by Jubes, most likely, maybe Rogue, although he's probably going to be prioritizing double movement speed items. Series at this rate will hurt. Does go for some Merc Treads, which is a little bit strange, Fish. Also cancelled his recall when he absolutely did not have to. I don't like Merc Treads on Rumble. So we'll see whether that does work out for him. However, if he had double penetration items, going into any team fight would be a definite plus for AV at this stage.
Let's see if they do. Trying to pick a team fight anyway, despite the Merc Threads pick up. Triple's got a big item pile spike. Hex Drinker as well. His Blade Iron King picked up. Oh! Sybil! He's going to be taken downtown as well.
Kill, however.
Rogue will fall. Jubes gets a Stand United. He might fall here as well. Flashes away. FBI throws out the ultimate. Sybil gets away through the Dark Passage with a sliver of health. And AV will survive that.
Ooh, that was so close, however, because if Series was able to get their first drop and Equalizer, that could have been the play that was a couple of kills as well as a turret. And that's all they were trying to stop by interrupting the Rift Herald. If turret still falls here, Rogue has actually given up his life for nothing because that's all you would have really expected. Ultimate coming
Sybil
in.
Fog of War means AV push for this mid lane outer turret. Without Jubes there, it'll be difficult for them to defend.
Yep, so mission still accomplished from AV. You hate to have a Rift Herald interrupted. Made it a little bit harder. They had to burn maybe an ult that they didn't want to on Sybil. But they still get what they're looking for, Fish, and that's the gold lead back.
It's about 600 gold in AV's favor.
It's definitely not 2 turrets worth.
So Sin have a lot of standing gold to take down. A single play from Sin means they can propel themselves even further into the lead.
Yep.
Whereas AV have to work for it a lot harder. But as it stands, it's a big standoff between the 2 teams. No one really wants to pull the trigger. AV already made their play. It's up to Sin now to decide what the next avenue of attack is going to be.
Yeah, certainly is. You can see Dokla, now that he's picked himself up a Tiamat, actually pushes the wave out quite nicely. Given the fact that Series is topside and they don't have Maokai ultimate, this is probably going to be a dragon going over to Sin Gaming. They've also caught out Maokai in his jungle, as well as... Ooh.
Good damage coming out from Triple there. Ryoma will try to sidestep as much as he can. Ultimate does not take Triple down. He still has Hex Drinker up.
Certainly does. They may look to dive him here, however. Jake does dissuade that by showing up at an opportune time. Also allows Sybil to actually get a couple of extra jungle camps that he maybe shouldn't have, Fish, because you could see they were invading his jungle before that heavy trade came in from Ryoma. Also had to burn a summoner spell there, so Triple is winning this lane.
They do, however, lock down Jake. FBI throws out his ultimate. Good hook, though, from Thresh. And FBI way out of position. Yes, Jubes gets a return
He's going to
kill.
be shut down.
But Triple will get the shutdown on top of that.
And Triple is a monster right now. I mean, they engage uneven numbers, and Triple still is able to pump out enough damage to turn that in his team's favor. Series, please don't take away CS from the guy that is actually trying to solo carry a team. Because he's 3-0-0. Has kept up in CS and is having a great laning phase, although I do hate his skin.
Just having a nice candlelight dinner spawn.
He is. I think it's the ultimate noise. I think the normal culling noise
the
is
pew pew?
so cool. And then anything like Project or Heartseeker or whatever the heck the other ones are, when they change the ultimate noise, I think it just bugs me too much. Which is weird. If you know me, I'm not a musically inclined person normally. So for something like that to annoy me is actually quite strange.
I get the same thing when I play Misfortune. Do not like the sound of her.
Arcade?
Yeah.
Dunk, dunk. I hate that one.
I like the arcade skin. I like the pool party skin. I just cannot stand the sound of the ultimate.
Yeah, makes sense.
Just doesn't sound like you're doing any damage. It's like, oh yay, water balloons are hitting me. Woo, great.
What Misfortune skin do you play then?
The Bilge Water one.
The captain one?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good skin.
Baller hat. Like, real good hat on that Misfortune skin. I don't know if that was, like, what they were going for when they created it. Like, let's forget about everything, put all your attention on the hat. But it is a really good hat.
I liked it because it made you look like a pirate, and Misfortune used to have the buff that says, I'm not a pirate.
Yeah.
So I found that really cool and lame at the same time.
What is she if she's not a pirate?
She's a bounty hunter. She used to be the pirate killer. Ooh, she used to hunt down pirates. I know her laws changed, so that's probably changed as well.
What's her name? Sarah? Is that her name?
I don't remember.
Sarah Fortune. I'm going to say that's her name, and if I'm wrong, please do not tweet at me.
Turn at me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. If I'm right, big thumbs up to Spawn lol.
But quietly, AV have acquired 2,000 gold over Sin.
Certainly have, and a lot of it's going to be on the back of that man right there. Triple, yeah, about 1,200 gold for him. 600-ish for Series as well, who has been involved in 0 kills. 0, 0, 0. It is Sarah Fortune. Boom, fish. Told ya, I am the Law King. Sybil taxes a wave mid.
That's all his now. You have Jungler as well, support slightly ahead for AV. FBI is 300 gold up. I want to talk about him really quickly because he had a really good split. But most of the games that Sin have lost, it's due to one mistake from FBI.
Yeah, his decision-making.
And decision-making sometimes are off. It's not frequent, but the times it happens is where it matters. Like that last fight.
Yeah, it looks really bad when he does it as well, because it's like, why are you there? There's so many things that he does well. Definitely one of the young guns. As I said, like, the idea of a future superstar that you would pick up at, 17, 18, wasn't really there in the past splits for the OPL. But you could definitely build a team right now around Ryoma and FBI, as Sin has done. He just needs to learn a little bit more patience, you feel, Fish.
I mean, he's not like Uzi or some of the other LPL AD carries who flash forward very frequently.
Can only go forward.
Yeah, but he's just out of position quite a bit and needs a lot of work on that. But has had a good split. Him and Ryoma have been tagging up as the hyper carries for the team. Doka has now stepped up as well. Even Jubes, he's had 2 good games so far. We've seen up and down performances from him the past year.
Yeah, this game has been much better. I would say last game was actually pretty quiet by Jubes standards. I think that Jubes is one of the better performing junglers in the OPL right now. So excited to see him playing well. He's going towards Knight's Vow as his first item. Going to be able to throw that one probably onto FBI. Although I wouldn't be surprised if again it goes towards Ryoma. Jake, you got to hit these hooks. That could have been another pick, is why I say it. And right now, they have no real way to start a fight, apart from Sybil's ultimate and, those hooks that are going to be coming out of Jake. So big pressure on the support player of AV. Definitely used to playing more heal-style support Fish, so we'll be interested to see how he goes, playing the hard engage for his team.
Still no Honor Sensor picked up by anyone, because neither support really wants to build towards it.
I mean, that's a good hook, though.
That's on towards Ryoma. He's dead. Outplay button. Almost works. Forced the heal out of it.
Certainly did. I mean, that was a nice and early heal as well. Probably could have just ulted and saved the summoner spell. I didn't see whether that was off cooldown, Fish. But still, getting a pick like that, sending a message to Ryoma, who has been incredibly confident going into these games, is certainly a good thing.
Maybe. 3,000 gold up. Slowly pulling ahead of Sin. It's not like last match where the 3,000 gold didn't really matter. But this game, when the two-team compositions are quite even.
Yep. Completely agree with you. When you're playing a composition that both of them are pretty down and dirty brawling comps, gold will start to play a massive factor. And beyond that, Ryoma has gone for a little bit of the mixed bag of items as well. He's going towards the Leandries, it looks like, but he's also got himself an arm guard versus Triple, who's sat on that Hex Shrinker but now built 2 completed items, will absolutely shred through Dokler and Juves at this stage of the game. So watch for the AV mid laner.
That's an initiation. They're locking down Triple, gets the Lantern away, and the Marcia used by Juves is going to whiff. That allows AV to start up Dragon for free.
And that was flash out of FBI and the Ignite being burnt by Rogue. And that is just going to be the cleanse out of Triple. So unless something goes very bad the next team fight, especially given the fact that Rogue now no longer has ultimate available, that is a very good trade for the AV lineup.
And they're pushing for more. Marching it down mid lane, trying to see what they can get.
Yeah. Flash hook would be on from Jake. See whether he wants to pull the trigger, if this is just a standard siege.
And this game's much better from AV. The last time these
They
two
look
teams...
composed.
Yep.
I mean, game 1, they honestly looked rattled, Fish.
I mean, was it... I believe it was week 8, the last time we saw Sin take on AV. That was a one-sided affair. 2-0 going in Sin's favor. There was a lot of trash talk coming into the match. And Sin definitely stepped up in that game. But even last match, AV were able to pull it back slightly in a game that Sin were dominating. And this game, they've been in control for, I would say, 95% of it.
Actually, if you look at it that way, if you look at, you know, the improvements from, what, week 8 to now, I would say, yeah, definitely agree with you. Because week 8, they kind of bought into the hype of the series. They didn't treat it like just another game. That was the one they must win to show that they're a top contender, which is honestly crap. I mean, you can come 5th and then win the split and you're still a top contender. So I think they bought into that a little bit too much. Improvement was there in game 1, although I think they got pretty severely outplayed. I hope he dies for it. Whereas right now, you're exactly right. They are performing incredibly well.
It was a little bit of fun today, though, watching Juves make his, you know, Gauntlet video.
Did he
his
release
first
it?
one. He did.
I didn't see it. I try and stay off social media. Like, I post my tweet, obviously, so people, before people are like, oh, stay off social media, you tweeted, Spawn. Like, yes, okay, I wrote my tweet and I hit enter, but I try not to read things before I cast. Public opinion sometimes tilts me, Fish.
Yeah, I went on to look at that tweet from Juves because I was watching him film it. He did about 7 takes running up and down the road right next to the office here.
Okay. Was it a good one?
I would say it's his worst. A lot of people think it's a good one.
Oh.
I actually thought it was his worst video made so far.
Right.
But I've been told by quite a few people that it was the best one he's made so far.
Interesting. So at Sin Juves, is that what we're saying?
Yeah, that's in Juves.
Tell us whether you like the tweet. Maybe you can get on broadcast.
Oh,
Engage
Rogue.
coming in from Rogue.
That's Stand United being used as well. So they bring Dokler in. Teleport flank from series.
Yeah, this
really
is
far
massive,
down.
and all of a sudden they can chase for days because they
Choke
also
point.
have the Meowkai ult.
Poor equalizer. They lock him down with FBI's ultimate, but that's a flash throw from Jake. FBI is going to cleanse out of this one and try and run away with that QSS
gonna
series. Gets right on top of him.
I mean, just go to Baron. That's the AD carry dead. That's so much of the initiation used. I mean, they use what? The ultimate out of Rogue, out of FBI, out of Dokler. Can they really fight this 4v5? Sure, there's no ultimate available from Maokai or Series, but still, unless you one-shot Triple, which I don't think he can do at this stage of the game, this is a very easy Baron.
Let's see if Sin can step up here. Last game,
Hooked
Silver
on.
stole a Baron. Dokler gets hooked. Pops down the dodge zone, will try to taunt out, but Triple chases him down. Juves wants to get the revenge.
It's on Juves.
Let's see if he can do it. He outsmarted Levi, couldn't do it against Sybil last game. AV are fairly low. Cataclysm is available. There goes Juves into the backlines. Baron is low. Smite early, not going to be enough. Sybil takes it down. Ryoma can't even snipe out the support. Will eventually do so.
But
Pouring
now
one
he's
last
in
Dark
trouble
Sphere.
as well. I mean, all of a sudden, Blinky can run towards him. They have flash, they have heal.
Pops his own heal. Flash forward from Blinky.
That was really badly played from Blinky. They have to flash twice for it. Probably too much used. Don't know what really happened there, Fish. But they get Baron in the one-team fight.
Yep.
Let's not talk about the micro mechanics of the game. Let's talk about the fact that AV just turned it on.
This is turning out to be a good series between Sin as well as AV. Quite a few people thought this could be a 3-0.
So many people were...
Week 8.
I was talking to like heaps of people, and I won't name names for this, but there has been a lot of smack talk thrown around about, you know, top 4 teams and then underneath that. Let's not forget that AV beat Legacy,
Yep.
took a game off Direwolves, beat Sin earlier this split. And then, I mean, they had one-sided match against Sin. Chiefs looked better than them, sure, but Chiefs were beating lots of teams at that time in the season. So I think that AV are legitimately still contenders to be able to take this best of 5. I mean, this is not over by any stretch of the imagination. And a lot of it has to do with that man that's playing the Lucian skin.
Triple.
He is a very good player at the moment.
He was the Kryptonite of Sin last Gauntlet, and Sin ran the Gauntlet. They went to all 5 games against AV, then against the Chiefs, then against Legacy. And you have to think, if AV won one of those matches, they could have been the one that went to all 5 games against Legacy in the final match.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Sin also were very good at reversing momentum last Gauntlet. You have to remember that the Chiefs, I think, had them 2-0'd before they reverse swept. And I think that, you know, the fact that they got reverse swept from Legacy really did change people's opinions on that, but Sin were very good. Oh, good hook.
Land on towards Juice. He's taking out so fast. It will be the support Rogue who jumps in. Juice tags back out. Dokla pops to Stand United. AV are very low on the back line, but Series has already picked up a double.
Yeah, and Flash is still available for Sybil, so if they keep walking forward like that, he can always launch himself forward. The 80 carries are super healthy still.
Good stun from Roma. Will lock down Series. He takes a couple of turret shots. Turret's still alive, but not for long. AV still very low, but Roma next to no mana left.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Sybil actually pull the trigger in that last fight and flash forward. Instead, they're going to play this one slow. Still 10 seconds left. Hook does land.
Through the taunt as well. Decides not to play him back. AV will take down the turret. FBI still trying to attack his way out of this one. Sybil taking a lot of damage. FBI no longer has the arrow to take him down with the passive, and Triple steps up to deter them moving any further forward. AV pick up an inhibitor.
Yeah, Triple actually maybe saved Sybil's life there, because you could see that they wanted to hunt him down. However, the threat of Triple being able to dash forward with that double tap, Jake's maybe going to fall down here, although Moby Boots back online, he'll get out. I love how you start zooming when the Mobies come back in. So we'll be able to get out. Didn't have Baron empowered recall, that's why it was a little bit slower. But really nicely played from AV.
Maybe having a much better game too. Series as well stepping up. He's 3-0-2. Dokla's not having a bad performance, but I mean, he's on a tank now. He's really relying on the rest of the map to do well for him.
Yeah, certainly is. Laning phase didn't go as well for him. I think this will be the last time we see him on a pure tank fish. Interested to know why they didn't pick him something like Fiora or Camille in this matchup.
I mean, I would have liked the Shen if they went for something like Lulu, Janna into Twitch or Kog'Maw, and you have a Protect the Hyper Carry comp. Not so much on the Varus.
Yeah, I think you just fall too far behind. I agree with Pinch's analysis on how Sin win game, and that is through snowballing lanes. This time around, the Lucian in the mid lane really stopped any snowball down there. And as you can see, 0-2 for both the support as well as the 80 carry is not the score you want for Rogue as well as FBI in these games.
And they were dominating some very hard bottom lane matchups. Huge props to Blinky, who stepped up throughout the latter half of Split 2.
Yep.
Jake's had a very strong split ever since Origin.
Jake's my man. I'm actually a huge Jake fan, for those that don't know. I think he's a chronically underrated player. I honestly think he's actually quite a big game player fish. He's one of the shot callers for the team, a pretty vocal guy, and also very, very skillful on multitudes of champions. I mean, he was the Janna Nami player for quite some time, but you know, even put out things like Taric during Origin that people weren't expecting. I
mean, we saw how quickly he adapted, because a lot of the bans thrown towards your team's way was the support bans like Zyra.
Yeah.
And a couple of the other mage sports as well for Jake. But as soon as it switched towards tank meta, he was able to adapt back in. We've seen him pick up the Janna and does absolutely fine as well. So he has a very diverse champion pool and knows exactly what his role is, whatever champion Pinch gives him in the match.
And in this game, 0-3-9, I mean, 9 out of 10 kill participation, highest on his team, certainly is doing a lot of the heavy lifting for generating the picks through the death sentence. And you'd have to think that now Vision Denial is going to be so easily achieved, given the fact that, you know, Creep's going to be pushing down all 3 waves, that it becomes easier for him to be able to start up these team fights.
So, Sin are about 10,000 gold behind AV. What's their next step? Do they just have to sit up and wait?
Yeah, I think it's a second Baron play, right? They've known that there is no vision on Baron. They know that Dokla can't get that really big flank. I think that they just go towards the Baron area. They keep these waves pushed up. They do a nice deep sweep of the surrounding area. Make sure that, you know, Rogue hasn't been able to sneak down a lane or something like that. And then you just wait for the Baron play. You've got the ultimate out of Sybil, you've got the death sentence to pick anyone that's trying to face check, as well as the ability for Series to just torch the backline. What is he? Death Cap, Leandries, not all that much magic resistance picked up for the carries just yet. And that's going to be an absolutely monstrous team fight if AV are able to get it on their terms.
Do they ever fall behind with the Lucian pickup? Because that used to be the case with Lucian mid, that late game he doesn't scale as well, but Lucian used to be played as a hyper carry in the LCK.
Yeah, I think Lucian's actually a great hyper carry. Obviously not going to be any Lulus or Janas or anything, but still going to be able to go towards the Infinity Edge. He'll maybe have to sell something for a Last Whisper incredibly late game, but I think he's fine late game. The range is what kills him generally, but he's pretty... Triple's shown that he can navigate these fights. If you're going forward, range is never really a factor.
Especially when you're up against, say, Jump and Shen, you'll be hitting them for quite a few times.
You're going to be hitting them.
Dash into the backlines. But AV are taking this run very patiently. 10 seconds till Baron comes up.
Yep, and you can see that, you know, Shop just freshly came out for Doppler, so they are getting their shops in nice and efficiently to make sure that, you know, they're not heading into another Baron fight with big gold sitting in their back pocket. You can see that everyone apart from Juves has recently shopped. Triple is the exact same on the other team right now. So these teams are playing it very, very patiently, very methodically.
They certainly are. Baron Buffett's now up. Inhibitor top side of the map for Sin is going to come back up. That should be the last super minion charging into the base now. That next wave you can see on the top side of the minimap should not have any more of these super minions. So,
but that's still a big wave. I think that you start Baron right now and you try and bring Doppler there, because if you do, those creeps will turn around and kill the Inhibitor again. Instead, they are playing it nice and slowly. Instead, they want the fight in the mid lane. Did Hook miss?
He's been caught out in that position in quite a few of their games.
That must have been a missed hook, because you can see Series is in prime position for an equalizer right now. Big news story is the fact that Rogue has got his flash available.
Series with another big flank available. He's going to march up now. Let's see how Sin decide to turn on this one.
Yeah, Series is behind them. Equalizer's not in a great spot again.
No, but does split up the team. Standing United very early onto Ryan. They lock down Series. He's going to die here, or is he? They kill Rogue. Pops to Zhonya's. Will tuck a dark passage, as well as a massive shield to survive. Roma can't get into the fight, and Triple's already marching forward. He takes down the AD carry. Hook goes wide, does not matter. Triple will get another kill for himself eventually. Or not. Rama is able to jump away. Doppler wants to kill Series here. Another big shield, and Blinky played that team fight so well.
He certainly did. The whole of Avant honestly played the team fight well. I thought the equalizer wasn't going to be good enough. Like you, I thought the Series was going to fall down, but the clutch Zhonya's comes out, and then Triple dashing forward, dealing with the threats, while Blinky just made sure that the tanks had absolutely nothing to do with that team fight. Great execution coming out of AV. And what are they? 11,000 gold ahead now. And the base is just right for the picking.
Massive gold lead for AV. There's that equalizer.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't great. It got 2 ticks on Ryoma. But apart from that, did nothing. Ryoma gets the Shen ulti, and I think that's the first mistake. Because that means that Shen is just, you know, nowhere near the fight. You can see that as it comes in, not really all that much happening apart from Triple dashing forward and Blinking just keeping Doppler, I mean, busy on the backline. It's as easy as that, Fish. Triple is enough of a threat to deal with everyone else with Jake, whilst Blinky and Series just continually deal with the tanks. And that should be good night soon. They might even be thinking towards game 3 at this stage. I don't quite see how they're going to be able to come back from this. Yeah, and it'll be fairly interesting to see whether Lucian becomes a ban in this series, because you can see that they got the counter pick. It was a blind pick Lucian. I mean, or potentially side change. Normally Lucian is picked up red side. Unless the team is willing to first pick it on the blue side of the rift. Yep. Sinner picked blue side in game 1. AV clearly want the red side. See whether Juice goes for the desperation play. That was a big creep wave, but they have managed to stop Fish. I mean, Sin as well as Legacy are two of the bigger teams that decided to go for those Hail Mary fights when they're 10,000 gold behind. Try and make something out of it. Yeah, they don't like losing slowly. It's a 1% play, but if you do it 100 times, eventually it's going to work. Let's see if that's going to be the case now. AV, the game is still in their hands. They are the ones that can make these decisions to close out this game.
against
Yeah.
Sin. Tied up 1-1.
on.
Hooks on the Juves. That's the first step. Instantly pops Cataclysm. Blinky is very low. Pops the ultimate early. Dokla tries to go in. Good charm from Rogue in the back lines, but AV just turn around. The front line's gone. FBI gets a big shield, but no Shen to back him up. Sybil just walks next to 80 carrier spot, flashes out of the knockup. Triple is chasing him down. FBI's gone, and it's an easy team fight for AV.
Yeah, the clean ace comes in. It was actually the hook from Jake that starts that one up. AV, a much better performance in game number 2. They'll pick up this win.
Pinch had set up his team for success in game 2. They bounce back. They'll be confident in this series now, knowing it's a very even matchup against Sin. Game 2 goes to AV. The best of 5 series is tied up 1-1.
And you know, potentially the best way to win it, nullifying bottom lane and actually getting series in advantage in the top side of the map. Remember, that was the first turret that went down, was Dokla's turret. Sybil got up there, Triple got up there. They have series back in this best of 5. In the end, I mean, the Rumble play was actually pretty big for them, Fish. Would have done a lot of damage, was very hard to deal with as a frontliner, and Triple, in 2 back-to-back games, in my opinion, has had the better of Tommy. So now the ball in Sin's hands. What can they do to really unlock Ryoma and get him rolling in this best of 5?
I mean, does he get his Talia now? It's been 2 games without a single ban his way. We know that's one of his signature picks, and Sin play around it quite well. Dokla as well, he had a great game 1. Game 2, he was a support tank, basically.
Yeah.
Couldn't do too much, but he was still playing fine. Do they put him back on a carry?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, that's the other big thing, right? Imagine the pivot that if Sin can only go into these games playing carries on top lanes. It would be the gauntlet all over again, because all of a sudden you have to play around Dokla because you know he's going to get camped, especially if Sybil is happy to just continually go back to Maokai. Much better execution on the Maokai pick than the Zac pick. The ults were very good, instrumental in sieging down the turrets early game, and he was starting them nice and far back, which I like because they do pick up speed.
Well, Spawn, it's just day 1 of the gauntlet, and already we have a very close series. Reminiscent to Split 1. Every single match until the finals went to game 5, and then it was a game 4 victory for the Dials against
Certainly
Legacy.
was. Pretty clean by the Dials. You have to say the most clean out of all the best of 5s we had. But, I mean, this is shaping up to be an absolute classic again.
It certainly is. And to break down the current 2 games, let's send it back to the analyst desk.
Well, it's not quite the same as the Gauntlet run last split because it was a reverse sweep last split. Yeah, but this time around, it is 1 game apiece. Sin taking on AV and T-Gun. Much better at AV this game.
Yeah, and it goes back to what Pinch said in his interview, that they need to stop Sin from snowballing out of lane. I'm not too sure I agree with his idea to ban the Kalista and not take it for Blinky, but that's another conversation for another time. But it shows that he's identified what they need to do and has obviously executed on it really well.
I like this draft a lot more. I
Yeah.
think they won off draft.
Because it wasn't three losing
Well,
lanes.
one, it wasn't 3 losing lanes, but it was just such a nice draft coming from Pinch, and really like I like that they brought out the Lucian mid. This is a really hot pick. I know Triple loves it, and they did some really smart bans. The Cassio and Vladimir ban are pretty good in solution, but then also Corki coming from Sin kind of banned something off themselves, but it just worked in their favor, and they executed so well.
So one thing that the cast have mentioned, and I'm also thinking about is, why aren't they playing Talia? Is it really bad in Dilution? Surely you've got a pretty good idea of this.
Like, well, when you go into a best of 5, I've been in a couple best of 5s. You don't. When I was good,
All right.
You generally, I think that they are either saving the pick or they feel as if they don't need to play
They
it.
want to show it.
They
yet.
don't want to show it yet.
So
Because
it's not because of the matchup then?
Well,
well,
not
you can
necessarily.
play it in that matchup.
Yeah.
It's not a bad matchup for Talia, but to me, it's something that they're so used to just like, yeah, okay, Talia's up, let's pick it and let's win the game. But I feel as if they won game 1, game 2, they feel like they don't need to reveal it. Let's save it for the next series.
Because I think what happens is they look at it as though it's like, look, if we show Talia now, that's sure everyone knows Tommy can play Talia. If we show we've got a threat on Cassio, if we show we're a threat on Syndra, then potentially they've got to ban at other things and looking towards, if they're looking towards next, the grand final or whatever, if that's what their goal is, then
You expect them to play it now, though. I mean, they just lost.
hope
The
so.
You just lost the game. Like, this series is going to be a lot closer than I anticipated. And another note I wanted to talk about the draft was the Rumble Maokai picks coming out from AV. I thought it was really smart. the zoning really just swung every team fight, and there was really no real way Sin could put out too much damage in really any team fight.
Yeah, and I will say throughout the game, I was looking at the Rumble ultis and I wasn't really impressed by them. They just weren't super impactful, but they still did their job. Like you said, it's based around zoning, based around just forcing them into uncomfortable positions. There were times FBI got caught due to Rumble ultis. There were times that Shen ultis went awry because the Rumble ultis forced people into weird positions. So while it wasn't really flashy, while he wasn't landing these 5-man ultis on top of everyone, just incredible things, he did his job.
Forcing,
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty cool.
FBI got picked, and then they ended up doing well. The first Baron attempt coming out of AV was like what's really like threw the game in their favor. So they pick FBI, and then they all rotate up to Baron, and then they were a man down, and they really didn't know. Really didn't know how to like stop the 50-50 from happening. But it's really risky play coming out of AV. Like they end up getting good damage into Dockler. They see that Juves is in the top side with Tommy. They're aware that this 50-50 is imminent. They choose not to do anything about this. Like, kind of, I don't know what they're doing. They're like, okay, should we finish? Should we not? He goes inside. It's really close. This is not very ideal. You don't really want to give Sin that opportunity to get back into the game, similar to what happened in Game 1. It's fortunate they did secure it, but that's really what spiraled the game for them.
Absolutely.
I think the main thing from Sin there was they were trying to delay it to the point that they could get the steal, while AV, I feel like their main decision was, let's hold this Baron until we can deal with Juves.
Yeah, let's hold this Baron and wait for Juves to flash in.
Yeah, they kept it at 2.5, 2K for quite a while, and forced him to come in a little early, which made it a lot harder for Juves, and that's got to be their mindset going into it.
It's nice because I feel like Juves synergized with Tommy and said, hey, this thing's at 1.5, like let's burst it down to smite range. You could see they tried to coordinate it. It was off. The smite from Juves put it down to about 300, but you could see the intention was there. It was just unfortunate they didn't have enough damage.
Yeah. Pulling it a bit back from there, I want to go back pretty early in the game to the Rift Herald usage. Now this, while you're right, the Baron was the big turning point. When Rift Herald came down, this set the tone of the game for me. We're already 16 minutes in with only 2 kills. Rogue goes in to deny the use of the Rift Herald, which is really cool, a great interaction, and pretty cute. But my opinion is, if they clear that Rift Herald, they're going to lose this tower anyway due to the damage that's being dealt to them. Juves has to recall, Rogue is dead, Dokler's pretty much useless at this point. AV, if they stay there, which they do, they get that tower anyway. And it just shows from me, Sin, they were grasping at straws already. They were trying to engage, trying to just do cutesy things, as well as AV are happy to sit there and play a control game.
It was unfortunate. Like interrupting Rift Herald is very ideal.
Yeah,
it's a huge loss.
But what happens then? What happens then if they let Rift Herald get up then? Because
they lose mid-tower.
The Rift Herald. No, not just they lose mid tower, but that gets a charge off. So that's instant damage done on that, right? And then they could probably push either for a second tower or a team fight off the back of taking that first tower.
That's true. That's definitely true. Yeah, I mean, we can argue that interrupting was wrong, but through interrupting, I could see that it stopped them from losing 2 towers. Yeah. But like a good thing to note is the kills weren't like that. The goal was relatively even. It was about 1K in AV's favor.
Yeah.
So the team fight that would break out in that mid game would have been a lot closer. But through getting picked, Rogue essentially died for free. And that did swing the gold in AV's favor. But it's really in the moment. It was hard to call. I wouldn't say that was what threw the game for them.
No, absolutely.
But it was definitely a close call to make.
It is nitpicky, but in my eyes, there is a chance to go for 2, but if they try to stick around for 2 towers, the Rift Herald's going to be lower, your team's going to be more organized, and you can look for a better engage.
I just think that outer tower goes down so quick when you got a Rift Herald up against it.
If
it
going
gets
down
a charge
regardless.
off, it just melts. It's like a, I don't know, probably a third of maybe half of the damage of the turret.
It might have just one-shot it, but it's going down regardless.
Right.
If a team fight were to break out there, though, I mean, I was just talking about the draft and how much I love Maokai Rumble, and I just feel like AV's composition was going to win every team fight. Like, this is probably the second last team fight in the game. No, the last team fight. You can see the Shen ultimate doesn't do much, but Seri's on this Rumble is able to delay a great Rumble all into Zhonya's, instantly gets out with the Thresh Lantern, and while that's all going on, Triple and Blinky are getting so much damage out onto this front line. When a Syndra has to ultimate your support, you know you're in a bad spot, and they're able to just pick up whatever they can. They don't get too many kills, but they secure the team fight and are able to get Baron and end the game off that through top lane.
I hate Zhonya's. I hate it so much.
You don't
I
like
hate
it?
it. I hate it
You're
so
a Kalista
much.
player, though, so that explains why.
I hate Zhonya's.
He utilized it perfectly.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
He actually utilized it perfectly, which I was so impressed about.
Yeah.
I don't really see Seri's Rumble that much.
No.
I saw Dockla's Rumble. I love his Rumble.
Yeah.
That may be the meta. Every best of 5 develops its own meta. We may see Rumble being that hot pick, but look at that Lucian damage.
The big thing that strikes for me is the first game, the damage charts were pretty much exact opposite. Top laner for AV in the first game didn't do much. Top laner for Sin did quite a lot, and right here it's just straight up reversed.
Yeah.
I mean, we did see the first pick Rakan, a champion that Rogue is very good at. Probably the best Rakan. Don't get angry at me if I know Eatram's watching and might get angry at me. But
Tweeted him.
But Rakan on Rogue is definitely something that should be feared, and they did pick it, but it was just unfortunate. He wasn't. He missed a couple engages. Maybe a bit nervous in his first best of 5, but also AV may be playing well around it.
I mean, I'm gonna say the word that you seem to be tiptoeing around. I'm gonna say it was unimpressive. It's as simple as
You're
that.
a support. You can say that.
I can say that, and I have, because previous games he's been good.
Ooh,
He's been
score.
great on it, but that was just not very good.
I mean,
That's a true bot lane.
that sums up Sin's bot lane so well. These two are always holding hands, going up the river. 0-4-2, unfortunate game coming out of my best bot lane in the OPL. I feel that this Varus was a nice pick. In first game, you can see they locked down, they chain the CC really nicely, but on the other side, Spawn gave a shout out to Jake. I think Jake played amazingly this game on the Thresh. He was kind of the unsung hero. He had some massive lockets that really didn't do too much because they were so far ahead. But you can see his kill participation is insane. Blinky as well on the Xayah just did his job. Just did what you needed from an AD carry.
And Blinky stepping up in game 2 and his team being much more successful on the back of that.
Yeah.
I am really happy Jake did well on Thresh against Rogue. Because the infamous banned Thresh tweet that gets parroted by Fish, that was the game after they beat us.
Man,
so there's a little bit of pride at work there.
If I was Jake, and obviously I'm a cretin, I'm a goblin
I wouldn't
out
say
here.
that, but
if I was Jake, I would be tweeting right now, ban Thresh. Like I would be atting Rogue on Twitter, ban Thresh,
Where
mate.
are the ardent saucies? Why is there so many? Why is Thresh and Alistar and what's going on? Like I was expecting Janna, Lulu, Kog'Maw, but I'm actually really happy I'm not seeing any of this item on my screen anymore.
They're saving it, Jake. They're saving all these picks for later on in the Gauntlet.
No,
Jake loves.
They're saving the ardent. Yeah,
No.
like no one knows
That's
about
secret
that one
ardent
yet.
sensor play
Yeah,
for
okay.
round 3 of the Gauntlet.
It's as simple as this. Neither of them have looked to that champion before. That style of play, not the Kog'Maw, not the Twitch. The things Blinky has been impressive on has been things like Xayah, things like Kalista, things like things that FBI has been impressive on are things like Varus, and Kalista as well. So changing to the style of a late game team comp, especially for Sin, might be really, really difficult. And for AV, who play through their bot lane and look to get lane priority there, again, you're playing to a late game style instead of getting lane priority and assisting your jungler.
I feel
might not suit
that by the support picks aren't really late game. They're about they're about bot lane priority. Like we pick Thresh because we want to have bot lane priority and have kill threat. When you pick Janna, when you build Ardent Sensor, you're usually going for that late game. You usually have a Tristana or a Kog'Maw or something that can scale. But it just shows both of these teams are out for blood and they want to win their bot lane and get bot lane priority.
Absolutely. Well, the series is currently tied up 1 apiece. Sin versus AV in this first round of the Gauntlet. It's just about time for us to get into Game 3. But before we do that, Serianne has a message about a new Starguarding competition.
Thanks, Hingers. Right Oceania want you to design a Star Guardian. Whether it's Sona, Trundle, Misfortune, or Nami, this is a chance for you to reimagine one of your favourite characters in whatever medium you choose. Art, sculpture, fan fiction, or cosplay, it is entirely up to you. For all the details on how you can enter and the prizes up for grabs, make sure you head on over to boards.oce.leagueoflegends.com before September 17th. Before we jump into game number 3, we're going to check out some highlights from game number 2.
Sim
Tribble is going to be taken downtown as
Potential
well.
kill, however.
Rogue will fall. Juice gets a stand united. He
This
might
is a
fall
big
here
play.
as well. Flashes away. FBI throws out the ultimate. Sybil gets away through the dark passage with a sliver of health. Cataclysm's available. There goes Juice into the back lines. Baron is low. Smite early. Not going to be enough. Sybil takes it down. Ryoma can't even snipe out the support. Will eventually do so. It will be the support Rogue who jumps in. Juice tags back out. Dokla pops the stand united. AV are very low on the back line, but Series has already picked up a double. When they lock down Series, he's going to die here. Or is he? They kill Rogue. Pops the Sonya.
He gets
Will
out.
tuck the dark passage, as well as a massive shield to survive. Roma can't get into the fight, and Triple's already marching forward. He takes down the AD carry. Hook goes wide. Does not matter. Triple will get another kill for himself eventually. Not. Roma is able to jump away. Dokla wants to kill Series here. Another big shield, and Blinky played that team fight so well. Good charm from Rogue in the back lines, but AV just turn around. The front line's gone. FBI gets a big shield, but no Shen to back him up. Sybil just walks next to AD carry spot, flashes out of the knockup. Triple is chasing him down. FBI is gone, and it's an easy team fight for AV. They bounce back. They'll be confident in this series now, knowing it's a very even matchup against Sin. Game 2 goes to AV. The best of 5 series is tied up 1-1.